I was younger, I used to watch this show called Sanford and Son.
I've never had pains like this before. Oh, this is the worst one I ever had, son. Oh, it's the worst one. This is a big one. I'm dying.
Said like he'd be always pretending like he was having a heart attack, you know what I mean? And so as I was thinking about that, I was like, man, the heart is really a powerful muscle. Like, it's this big, size of our fist, but when it's not operating properly, then number one, we aren't in our best, we aren't healthy as we can be. And also when it stops, like, yo, that's it. It's my belief that culture is the heart and the heartbeat of a classroom. Because for all my educators out there, I'm gonna tell you this: any educator that you ask rookies, they're gonna say you are not teaching anything without culture in your classroom and relationships. Like, yo, it's not happening. So I have developed what I call the heart model, because we know culture is the heartbeat of the classroom, but if you can do these things, this is going to help you have a strong culture in your classroom. So the first thing that you want to do is have high positive expectations. Kids will rise to the bar that we set. So if we don't believe they can do it, hey, guess what? They're not going to do it. I've definitely been in classrooms where it was obvious that the expectations were through the roof, and the students usually rose to that bar. But another layer of this high positive expectations is examining our bias. And especially in these times that we're in, we really have to be willing to look in the mirror and say, like, where are my beliefs? Where are the blocks in my belief that are potentially getting in the way of my students get to the results that they need to? And this one is always challenging, because who wants to look in the mirror and say, oh my gosh, I have bias? Dude, I definitely did. I'm telling you, I was biased because I came from a different background than the students I was serving. And so I said, oh, they can't do math because they had to use a calculator. But I had to be really honest with myself and change that, because guess what? When I didn't believe they can do it, hey, guess what? They didn't. And so I always found reasons like, oh, they can't do it, these kids, da. But it all starts with expectations. So ask yourself, what do I believe about my students? Now, the next thing that you want to do is establish policies, procedures, and routines. Now, I'm not going to write all of this because, hey, that's a lot to write down. But establish policies, procedures, and routines. Okay. So what am I saying here? You don't want to just think about what your students are going to do. You want to think about how they're going to do it. I remember each Sunday night I'd be sitting at home doing these lesson plans. I just write problems. That's it. I never thought about the fact that I was dealing with human beings. And so it was chaotic. It was a disaster. I was screaming, be quiet. They weren't listening because I didn't have any procedures, routines, policies, nothing to say, how are we going to do this? So one of the things you want to think about when you are planning, how, like, what's my classroom going to be like? What's going to happen? Think about how are they going to do that thing, right? So if they're coming in, if I want them, my entry routine when they come in, if I want them to do a certain thing, think about how they're going to do it. So establish some policy, procedures, and routines to make that happen. All right. The next thing I would say, guys, is authenticity. And in short, hey, just be yourself. Hey, let me tell you something about kids. They see through our little facades and who we try to pretend to be. Let me tell you, I tell the story all the time. I wore the same pants every day my first year teaching, and they called me out. Kids don't have the filters. Like, they're not going to pretend that it's something that it's not. They know when you're not being genuine. So be yourself. Don't go in there trying to pretend. I tried to be the mean mug, not smile every day. Guess what, guys? It didn't work. And they were like, oh, that's not you. So I had to adjust. But be yourself. Because the thing is, they said, connection really starts with true vulnerability. They want to know that you're human. That if you have flaws, like, you're not perfect. You know what I'm saying? So just be yourself. And the next thing I would say, the R, relate to and connect to your audience. So one of the missteps I had, I thought it was all about me, guys. I really did, But the key is, it's really about the other. It's really about the other. I always tell the story of one time I was training for a marathon with one of my best friends, and she lifts weights. I love running. Like, I do it all the time. You know what I'm saying? So I go in there the first day. I say, hey, we're going to run 2 miles. So I'm like, oh, man, this feels great. Oh, it feels good. And she's at the back, and we get to the end, and she's like, yo, you're a terrible coach. I was like, what do you mean? The plan said 2 miles. But you know what the issue was? I didn't understand my audience. She doesn't run. So I had to adjust the very next day, but I had to understand who she was in order for the plan to be successful. Because if you think that you're just going to go plan lesson, you're going to have your lesson plans, you're going to go in there, you're going to execute, boom. It doesn't work like that. You want to take the time to understand who's sitting in front of you every day. What are their stories? Who are they as human beings? Because they say, there's a research that shows that people want to feel seen, want to be seen, heard, and understood. And so that's where that takes place. I'm focusing on getting to know who you are as an individual, and then we'll get to the content. You know what I'm saying? So take the time to understand who they are. Now, the last one, guys, this is key. Tone and trust. Set the tone and set it from day one. Someone told me one time, they said, it is easier to lighten up on the back end than what is it? I can't even remember. It's easier to tighten up on the front end, then lighten up, versus lightening up on the front end and then trying to tighten up. Because they're like, girl, we done already had fun. You in here trying to get serious? We not listening to you. But the thing here, this is tone and trust. The best ways, let me back up. One of the best ways to set the tone and build trust is being consistent. Yes, guys, I will say it one more time. This last one is all about consistency. That's it. Consistency. Once you establish all the things that you want to take place in your classroom, the key here is consistency. Follow through. I remember my first year I was mad because I was like, why are they not listening to me in my class? And then I see them go in another class, they act completely different. You know what the issue is? It was me. It was me. I was inconsistent. So if you want a certain thing to take place in your class, be consistent with it. You know what I mean? So I always like to think about Chick-fil-A and McDonald's. McDonald's milkshake machine has been broke since I was 5 years old. I know I'm going to go tomorrow. I'm going to say, can I get a milkshake? And what are they going to say? Our machine is broken. I expect nothing different when I go there. Now, if I go to Chick-fil-A, I say I need 5 honey mustards. I say I need 5 honey mustards and 15 hot sauces for my 3 little nuggets. They're going to say, my pleasure. They're going to give it to me. And you trust them so much, you don't even look in the bag. Like, you don't even check to say, oh, is this? You already know. You trust them that much. My class, my first year, was McDonald's. The machine was broken, and I was stressed out because I did not have structure. I did not have these things in place, and I wasn't being consistent. So we want to be that consistent that they know exactly what to expect when they come to Miss Fitzgerald's class. They already know the tone is set because I'm that consistent. You know, when you come in, you're going to grab your do now. You're going to hop on that bell work quiz right quick. We're going to review that one problem. We're going to jump into the lesson. We're going to engage. We're going to interact. Boom. Then we're going to close that thing out. Like, it's that consistent. I'm that consistent with what I do every day, that they know exactly what to expect. And that really, that sets the tone for all the other stuff to take place. So, yes, the heart model, guys. This is right here, culture in your classroom. Because guess what? If this thing right here is not there, we're going to be saying, it's the big one, Elizabeth. You're going to be stressed out. So I want to make sure that you have that heart comping in your classroom. And I'm out.